Radamel Falcao and Kylian Mbappe categorically refuse to stop scoring in the Champions League. Dani Alves briefly goes missing for Juventus. Spring has sprung, at least when it comes to the transfer rumor mill. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is either moving or staying put, or doing something else entirely, and Major League Soccer gets green. It's Thursday, April 20th, 2017, which means happy birthday to Shay Given. You, my friends, are listening to The Goalmouth, a podcast collaboration between Dirty Tackle, Howler Magazine, and The Total Soccer Show. Up first, Wednesday's Champions League matches weren't quite as dramatic as UEFA officials might have hoped. Both sides that won the first leg, that would be Monaco and Juventus, never really looked to be in too much trouble in the second leg, and both teams advanced into the tournament semifinals. Monaco, who won at Dortmund 3-2 last week, started in impressive fashion, jumping out to a 2-0 lead after only 17 minutes. Kylian Mbappe, who seemingly adds several million euros to his transfer fee every time he touches the ball, put the home side ahead in just 3 minutes, capitalizing on a spilled save from Dortmund goalkeeper Roman Bürki. Radamel Falcao headed home a second goal, and the League One leaders would go on to win 3-1 on the night. That goal was Falcao's 27th in all competitions this season, which isn't too shabby for a player that most pundits thought was finished only a year ago. No official word on how Falcao has managed to resurrect his fitness, though I'm inclined to believe that somewhere in a Colombian attic, there's a picture of the 31-year-old getting uglier and needing more surgery. That one is for the many, many listeners out there who have been clamoring for an Oscar Wilde reference on the pod. We did it. Meanwhile, over in Spain, Barcelona were unable to overturn a 3-goal deficit from the first leg, as their 0-0 draw with Juventus meant joy for the Italians and tears for the Spanish side, and Neymar in particular. Prior to last week's game, this matchup was billed as a variation of the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. Barcelona had scored 26 goals in their 8 Champions League matches, while Juventus had only conceded 2 in as many games. In the end, it was the unstoppable force that was decidedly stopped. Barcelona failed to find the back of the net against Juventus, which honestly speaks more to the defensive discipline of Max Allegri's men, who haven't conceded in over 8 hours of Champions League soccer, than it does the profligacy of the Catalans. Even more impressively, Juventus were able to accomplish this feat despite starting with only 10 men on the field. Okay, that's slightly misleading, but factually accurate. When the match kicked off, Dani Alves, who was Juventus' starting fullback and Barcelona's former starting fullback, was still shaking hands with the home side's bench. As a result, he had to sprint onto the field when the referee blew the whistle, and therefore wasn't able to finish the series of increasingly elaborate handshakes that he had initiated. So to recap, your 4 Champions League semifinalists are Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Monaco, and Juventus. The draw to determine who plays whom will take place this Friday at 11 a.m. GMT, which Google tells me is 7 a.m. on the East Coast. And if you don't mind, let me just be the first to say congrats to Atletico and Real for managing to avoid each other. I can only assume that's what's going to happen. As many gardeners no doubt already know, April is a time to plant the seeds of herbs, corn, peppers, and tomatoes. Similarly, as many desperate editors no doubt already know, April is also a time to start planting the seeds of transfer rumors, and the folks over at Metro know this better than most. That's presumably why their rumor mill went into overdrive on Wednesday, as they reported that 1. Inter Milan will pay Antonio Conte nearly £42 million to leave Chelsea. 2. Joe Hart is definitely joining Liverpool this summer. 3. Serge Aurier has committed his future to Jose Mourinho and Manchester United. 4. Alexis Sanchez is moving to PSG for metric tons of cash. And 5. All of Arsenal's transfer targets have been told who will be in charge next season. It's perhaps worth noting here that the website footballtransferleague.co.uk keeps a running tally of the accuracy of the rumors produced by England's major publications. Coming in last of the 15 publications surveyed, that would be Metro, who are averaging just over 20% accuracy. So 20% accuracy, that means one of the 5 stories above must be true. So best of luck to Joe Hart next season at Anfield. It's going to be fun. Okay, and with all that said, let's just stay away from baseless rumors, shall we? Good. Glad we agree. Anyway, according to the Daily Mail, Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be offered a £5 million per season deal to become the mustachioed face of LAFC. The offer reportedly includes an option that would allow Ibrahimovic to play the first half of next season at Manchester United before heading stateside prior to the start of the 2019 season, which will be the franchise's first since it ceased operating as Chivas USA and rebranded as LAFC. Ibrahimovic is out of contract this summer, and his future remains uncertain. Many pundits insist that he will sign a new deal for the Red Devils, even while speculation linking him with the LA Galaxy continues to persist. Full disclosure, I'm a Manchester United fan. Given that he's scored as many goals as Marouane Fellaini, Anthony Martial, Wayne Rooney, Marcus Rashford, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Jesse Lingard, and Antonio Valencia combined, I'm hoping he stays put. That said, the idea of Will Ferrell, who's a part owner of LAFC, and Zlatan spending more time together sounds like a buddy comedy just waiting to happen. We can do it. And finally, Major League Soccer, Adidas, and the nonprofit organization Parlay for the Oceans have announced that 4 MLS clubs, New York City FC, Orlando City, LA Galaxy, and the Seattle Sounders, will wear special kits this weekend that are upcycled from marine plastic intercepted by Parlay ocean cleanup operations. According to the official press release, quote, "Once the original plastic material is collected, it is repurposed into performance material for use in either apparel or footwear, in this case, jerseys. The one-time specials will read, 'For the Oceans' on the back neck tape to commemorate the occasion," end quote. I, for one, love this idea. Obviously, it is a green initiative that seeks to bring further awareness to the fact that the planet's oceans tend to have an insane amount of trash in them. Looking in your direction, Garbage Island. Moreover, for years, MLS has been mocked as being a retirement home for aging players. Now, that's obviously a bit unfair, given that there has been an increased emphasis on bringing in young or in their prime players in recent years. But I like the idea of changing the narrative from a retirement home to a place for recycling. Can't you just imagine the promos now? You've got the Sarah McLachlan music coming in, we fade from black into a still image of Bastian Schweinsteiger, and then the narrator says, "For years, Bastian was cast off in the wilderness of northern England, but now the good people in Chicago have collected him, brought him in, and repurposed him for the greater good." It works on so many levels. Well done, Major League Soccer. And with that, we've come to the end of yet another Goalmouth episode. You can explore all of these stories in more depth by subscribing to our newsletter. The link is in the show notes. I've been Taylor Rockwell. Ryan Bailey will be with you tomorrow. Until then, I'll leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. If you're casting the villain for a Talladega Nights sequel, Zlatan is your man.